Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Here's your host, Morgan Colby and Rick Lemon.
What's going on, Fantasy Champs? My name's Morgan Colby. I got Rick Lemon with me as always. What's poppin', Ricardo?
What's up? What's up?
Did you happen to watch Will Smith beat somebody's face in last night in national television?
Oh my gosh, I did not, but I went on Twitter this morning and that's all I saw, and I was like, "What the heck happened?"
First off, I was like, "Who the crap watches the Oscars anyway?"
Yeah, true. I had a little bit of a movie phase when I was younger, so I watched the Oscars like twice. And that was
fully watched. Yeah, that's not something you need to admit to.
Yeah, well, you know what? I just did. So I'm a big movie guy. All right, I'm not.
Big
I haven't watched
guy.
the Oscars.
Loves the hockey fights. Sitting down watching the Oscars in January. Oh, what the hell month is it? March.
Yeah, nice. Close enough. I haven't watched the Oscars though since I was like, I don't know. It's been at least like 7 years.
Okay, all right. So I forgive you for your transgressions. Yeah. So, is this? Do you think it's staged or not?
That's a good question because, like, I want to say it is, but it also feels like if you watch the video, Will Smith is laughing at the joke, and then he looks over to his wife, and he's like pissed off, and he's like, "Oh crap, I gotta fix this.
I gotta take care of business."
Yeah. So I feel like it's probably not staged just because of that, but I really wouldn't be surprised if it was.
No, like I said, no one watches the Oscars. There's probably more people watching the two worst NBA teams play each other or watching preseason baseball than there were watching the Oscars last night. They got to get people talking about it. But now we got a GIF that I can use.
Yeah, there you go. We got a new GIF.
That's what I'm saying,
a new meme.
That's what I'm saying. So anyway, we're not here to talk about popular culture. We're here to talk about fantasy freaking football. And we're going to bring you some more free agency and offseason updates and talk about mostly a massive trade that went down just recently in the past, what is it, the week? Over the weekend? Was it over the weekend?
Yeah.
Or was it like last week?
I want to say it was over the weekend, and it happened. The whole thing happened in like 4 hours.
It's amazing. So we'll talk about that. We got some other minor things that we haven't discussed yet, and then maybe we'll touch on some other guys that we didn't get to spend a lot of time on last week, or at least I didn't feel like we got to spend.
There's just been so much with free agency.
I know, my brain, like, it really should be broken down into 2 shows, but anyway. And then next week we got some good stuff. We got quarterbacks on Friday, Thursday. But on Tuesday and Thursday of next week, we are going to be releasing our fabled coaches show.
Oh, we get the coaches show.
So we're going to break down the coaches, and then we'll talk about some rookie running backs. And then I think the next week we're going to start spanking the mock drafts.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be April by then, so
ready to go.
That time of the year.
I'm excited about the NFL draft, and I feel like life is moving much faster now for whatever reason. Because last year, you know what it might have been. Last year, I was scouting Mac Jones and getting ready for the Patriots to take a quarterback, and I was anticipatory of the NFL draft. And this year, very anticipatory of the NFL draft. My team just doesn't really have a major dog in the fight, I guess. I mean, we're trying to get a receiver, but not anything.
They could go corner or linebacker.
Franchise changing. So,
well, I mean, a receiver could.
Yeah, you're right. But not as big as a quarterback. So,
no.
Anyway,
definitely not.
So I feel like the draft's coming up a lot faster this time around, and that means we're closer to, preseason and training camps in July.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, it's 27 degrees where I'm at right now, so I guess I should probably stop thinking about it being warm that soon. But anyway, so before we jump into some of the updates, check our website, fantasychampions.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any other podcast platforms, please leave a review and share this podcast with your friends. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, like, and comment down below any questions you have pertaining to the offseason. We'll answer any questions about fantasy value pertaining to any player that was signed. So ask that in the comments. Are you ready to get poppin', Rick?
Yeah.
All right, so Rick had some interesting moves right before we jumped on the show, because we'll get to the big trade in a second. But obviously, what we talked about last week, Watson to the Browns, that's one I might want to talk a little bit more about, because I feel like we didn't get to talk at all
kind of just mentioned it and talked a little bit about it, but
how it affects the Browns' fantasy ceilings for players. I think we kind of talked about that he might be suspended and different stuff like that.
Correct.
But anyway, I was feeling emotional because the AFC is just so much better than the Patriots. So. Anyway, so we did have a couple of moves. Austin Hooper was cut. Is that correct? Cut. It cut. No contract.
He was released.
He was released by the Cleveland Browns. He subsequently signed with the Titans, which we'll get to. But this opens up an interesting slot for, and I think this happened a couple weeks ago. We just never talked about it. But it opens up a slot for David Njoku now, who has been their tight end for a while, to basically become the tight end one for the team, which is what people have anticipated him being for a while. With Deshaun Watson playing, assuming that he does, what are your feelings on our man's David Njoku?
I'm pretty high on him, especially looking at these tight end rankings on Fantasy Pros.
Yeah.
For 2022, if you go to PPR, their early rankings, they have David Njoku as tight end 31.
Wow.
Which he's not going to stay there, I don't think. Someone has him as high as 14. We'll see where he ends up being, but if he's like tight end 19, 20, he's one of these guys that I'm going to take a shot in the dark in 100% come draft day. The only problem is Deshaun Watson is going to miss, most likely, at worst, like 6 games.
4 to 6.
Yeah, 4 or 6 games. I mean, that's best case scenario. So he's going to miss time. So that will be a blow. But when Deshaun Watson is out there, Njoku is going to have a big role in this offense. It's a tight end heavy offense. With Hooper gone, he's going to get the most work at the tight end position. There's probably going to be some targets to go around. Obviously, Amari Cooper is going to get some. They're probably going to add one more guy, whether it's the draft or Will Fuller, whatever they end up doing. But Njoku's still going to be heavily involved in that offense. It has a big opportunity, and he has the talent to do it. I think he was a pretty high draft pick. People have been expecting him to take this leap, and he's still young. He's only 25, so this is kind of like a
Darren Waller. He broke out when he was 25, right?
I think he was even older. I think he was like 26, 27.
Huh.
He was, I think, 26. He was a little bit older. But yeah, he was a first-round pick, 29th overall. I think this could be the year, and Njoku has a big season.
Yeah, I think I always like trying to find those off-season tight end gems.
Yep.
That you get late in the draft, and you're able to take advantage of people's misfortune drafting Travis Kelce at 105.
What about Bob Tonyan too?
Oh, I know.
21.
He actually I'm a little less excited about Robert Tonyan because even when he was on the field last year, he wasn't great, but now I think, to be honest with you, it depends on what really happens in the offseason, because there have been some other rumors of wide receivers getting traded. So like if the Packers add Julio, or they add OBJ or somebody like that, I don't know how Bob Tonyan's ceiling would be, but anyway, David Njoku, like, they have Amari Cooper and no one else. And then like Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, and Hunt's a decent pass catching back. Chubb not so well. Chubb is actually pretty good pass catching back.
What is it? People Jones something?
Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Yes, Donovan Peoples-Jones.
So there is some vacated target share there, and if Njoku does take that, I agree with Rick. I think he's a very, very good late round value at the tight end position. I think as long as his value doesn't go past like round 11 or 10 or 11, I'm okay with saying, okay, I'm going to take a shot on David Njoku, because he could end up being really good. I'm curious because I can't remember. It's been too long. It's been too long with no Deshaun Watson. But did he throw to the tight end position when he was in Houston? I don't think he did, but I don't know if that was
I don't
him
think he
or
did,
lack of
but
tight end.
Yeah, they didn't really have tight ends.
Yeah.
So I don't think he did, but they never really had like you were saying a real tight end.
Yeah. So I think with Njoku, he could end up being kind of like a deep sleeper or a sleeper at the tight end position that not a lot of people are going to be thinking about because there's been so much this offseason. Like, that we might need to do a show just based on like players that people are going to forget about because of the amount of movement that we've had for many players. But anyway, so yeah, he ended up or not he what the heck's his name? The tight end, Austin Hooper, ended up leaving Cleveland because they cut him and going to the Tennessee Titans. So we can move on to that. What do you think the fantasy value of a player like Austin Hooper? Like he hasn't been when he was in Atlanta, he was actually pretty decent, but obviously we knew going to the Browns, them running the system that they do without a lot of, they already had Njoku there. They had two good receivers on the team in OBJ and what's his name? Jarvis Landry. And so they had some pieces there that and they like to run the football. So there wasn't a lot of opportunity for a guy like Austin Hooper. We both projected him to be a bust, and that's what he was with Cleveland. He's not an elite pass catching like tight end. He's good,
right?
But he's not elite. Like, Travis Kelce, Kyle Pitts, those guys are like Darren Waller, George Kittle. Like those guys are really, really good tight ends when it comes to pass catching. I think Hooper's good if he gets targeted, but I don't think he's elite or anything like that. So going to Tennessee, though, it's an interesting landing spot because he's automatically going to be the main tight end there. So
yeah.
Like, what are your thoughts on him in Tennessee?
I like it because, like you said, he's going to be the main tight end. He's going to have an opportunity. It's better than what it was in Cleveland.
Yeah.
The problem is it's not like a super high passing offense. And they obviously got Robert Woods now to replace Julio with AJ Brown, but they did have a kind of a vacancy at tight end, and Tannehill would target the tight end a lot. So I could see him having definitely a role on the offense. Mm-hmm. Definitely valued more than what he was in Cleveland, because right now, rankings wise, says he's not. He's the tight end 23 right now.
Yeah,
I think he can move up a couple spots. I'm not, taking him expecting to be a tight end 1, but he's someone who could have some underrated value though in the later rounds.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you're, I called David Njoku a deep sleeper. I think you move him into the sleeper conversation. I think Austin Hooper is a deep sleeper.
Yes.
It depends on like how many targets did Julio Jones have? You know what I mean? And then the previous year before that, maybe he just took the Jonnu Smith targets. I don't know. But if there's a decent amount of vacated target share for the Tennessee Titans, he could end up seeing a decent target share for Tennessee because he's not dead. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like he declined. It's just Cleveland was not the right place for him. They were kind of overplaying their hands a little bit when they were stacking up their team. And, it kind of, obviously it was bound to not work out there. I think he's a good tight end. I think he can get some opportunity. But I think there's also a lot of tight ends on the market this year that could end up in the top 10. And that could end up breaking out. And I don't know if Hooper is going to be one of those guys. Not that necessarily he's going to break out, but I don't know if that the situation that he is in is going to change his fantasy landing spot moving forward. So is it worth a little bit of a flyer in the 15th round if he's there? Yeah, I usually cut my 15th round pick too. So right. Yeah, just go for it. See what happens. But I'm not excited about it. I'm not predicting a breakout.
It's better than Cleveland, though.
Yes, 100% better than Cleveland. It's better than Cleveland, but not as good as what Atlanta was for him. So I guess it's like a middle of the pack thing. There was another guy that I wanted to ask you about, totally unrelated. We know Russell Wilson went to the Denver Broncos. We talked about that before. Everyone has been talking about this guy, Albert. I'm not even going to try to say his last name. Albert O. The Denver Broncos tight end. Broncos head coach Nathaniel Hackett, the new guy, said that he will be a hybrid tight end / receiver in the team's offense this season. So I want to get your thoughts because I saw people, like, as soon as Russ got there, it was like, and they got rid of Font. It was like, oh my God, Albert O is going to be a tight end 1, top 5 this year because Russell Wilson's playing with him. And I'm like, okay, there's a lot of target share to be spread around in Denver, and we're getting a little bit excited. So calm your pits.
He had like a cult following before.
Oh, really? It's probably his name.
There have people been on the Albert O train for a while, and now it just like escalated times 1,000 after the Noah Fant got traded. I just call him Albert O.
Akuga Bonham.
Because he has like great measurements and he has all the tools and he's a good pass catching tight end. All this stuff.
Player profile.
Look,
confirm this crap.
He's decent. He was a 4th round pick though. Mm-hmm. It's not like he was a high pick, but he's shown so far in his short time that he looks like a good NFL tight end, pass catching wise. So I can see why people are high on him, and I think he'll be a very good red zone player. But like, he's not going to be first on the team in targets.
Yeah,
he's not going to be second on the team in targets.
He's fast.
Is he going to be 3rd on the team in targets?
Maybe.
He's fast, and he's also 6'5", 260.
See, that's the. Yeah, that's ridiculous. This is 6'6", 250.
6'2"?
6'6", 250.
Oh, yeah.
He's a
the one I look at says 6'5", 260. So.
I hope that's all muscle. How do you run that fast at 260 pounds? Who knows? So anyway, I mean, his profile on Player Profiler looks good. It's like breakout age 19.4. 90th percentile.
Yeah, that's why I said like he's got
score
like
98th percentile or 100th percentile.
A lot of people like him.
98th percentile 40-yard dash. So like he's got some pieces. But I'm like, I don't know. It's just like he was behind Font. Like, should that say anything? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. But he's definitely going to be a red zone threat for sure. I'll give you that one. And if Russell Wilson has a year like Stafford and he throws like 40 touchdowns,
yeah.
Alberto might get like an 8 or 9 touchdown season,
right?
Which would make him fantasy relevant.
Right.
So yeah, he's another. You can add him to the list. See, the problem is he's going to be higher ranked than Njoku and Hooper, where I feel like at least for Njoku, like I don't know if he should be. You know, he's gonna be a lot higher. He's gonna probably be like a top 15 tight end.
Right.
I've seen people put him in the top 12. And I would not do that. But he'll be fantasy relevant. And I think he's a guy you could take a flyer on for sure. Because like let's say Cortland Sutton gets hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's
and
true.
It's Tim Patrick and Jerry Jeudy and Albert
I
Allen.
don't think like you said, like where is he in target share for the Denver Broncos? You know, like you.
Right, that's an interesting question. He's obviously behind Jeudy and Sutton. I would assume he's also behind Tim Patrick.
Right.
That's going to be the difference with him because if he can get ahead of Tim Patrick and ahead of KJ Hamler, and you know if you want to include Javonte in that list, then he's going to definitely have a good fantasy season if he's the 3rd option in that offense. But he has to leap those guys.
Yeah, I agree. I just saw a report. Mike Florio reported that Jarvis Landry wants $20 million per year.
Yeah, I saw that the other day.
See you later. Yeah. You're 107 years old. Get out of here. All right, so let's move on to the big blockbuster smash of a move here. That Rick said so eloquently, developed quickly. It's like Chiefs might be interested in traded.
It was
fast.
Out of the blue. Contract talks aren't going well, and they've given him permission to seek a trade. We're like, what the heck? Okay, and then it was like the Jets and Dolphins are interested, the Jets and Dolphins are the front runners.
Right.
He's going to be traded the next hour. He's been traded to the Dolphins. I was like, what?
what just happened? So apparently, if you guys have not already heard, Tyreek Hill was traded to the Miami Dolphins. It doesn't really matter what for. I think it was like six round picks, 6 total picks or 5 picks or whatever. So they got Chiefs got a haul. Jets got screwed. But the Dolphins, I'm trying to find the name in my freaking brain. Dolphins end up getting Tyreek Hill. So it was weird. It was very fast. And I think part of the reason why it was fast was because apparently this was happening over the last like week or 2 weeks, and no one has been talking about it. And it wasn't reported at all. So
right.
Because that is the case, I think it just it was already developed and it was already almost there. And then they just got the report and it was like, oh, okay, let's just send it out there. And it developed quickly. So, I definitely don't think it was like an urgent thing, but they probably should have said this is close to being something that is going to definitely happen instead of, oh, they might look into trading him. So I was like, oh, wow, this is going to take like 5 weeks.
Yep.
And then it took 5 minutes. So anyway, obviously a massive move that has a lot of implications for both teams. I want to go through first off the Chiefs and what that means for the Kansas City Chiefs, and then we can move to the Dolphins. And I'll throw in there too that the Chiefs signed Marquez Valdez-Scantling from the Green Bay Packers.
That's gross.
Yeah, to a very, very bad contract. Not judging, but I'm judging.
12. What was it? 12 million a year.
Yeah, 12 million a year. Well, I guess that's not horrible, but
I think it was 13 million a year.
MVS ain't great. So anyway, they add MVS to that team, and we'll throw that into the conversation as well. Without Tyreek Hill, what are your thoughts on the Chiefs' offense as a whole?
We're going to do the Chiefs first.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Chiefs' offense as a whole, I've heard this from a lot of people and like even scouts. There's been NFL scouts that have said this, where, they don't say NFL scouts, but they say people in the NFL world who evaluate players, which means scouts, right? Or GMs, or not even GMs, but personnel players or decision makers, I should say. Anyway, they all say the same thing. Tyreek Hill you can't replace him. MVS is not going to replace Tyreek Hill. So it changes the offense. It 100% does. There's only like maybe 4 or 5 receivers in the NFL, to me, that changes an offense. I think Tyreek Hill is in that conversation because of his speed.
Yeah.
And the difference that makes. So yes, it's going to affect the Chiefs offense in I think a negative way. However, it's still Patrick Mahomes. It's still Andy Reid. They still have Travis Kelce. They're going to be fine. It's still going to be a good offense. I don't know if we talked necessarily about the Juju Smith-Schuster signing, or we did when Tyreek Hill was still there at least. Mm-hmm. So Juju's going to have a huge role. I think MVS is going to he's definitely going to have a role with the contract they gave him, but I feel like he's going to kind of just be like a McCole Hardman type player where they're just going to send him on long streaks, just go down the field. And then he'll have a game where he gets 4 catches and 150 yards. Right. Because he had 3 catches and one of them was 70 yards and games like those where he's not going to be a high volume. Mm-hmm. McCole Hardman, don't buy him. Why? I know people are all over the McCole Hardman train. Nope. Why? Because I don't think it's going to change. His role's not going to change. I think he's still going to play the same role. I think they're going to draft a guy as well. Okay. And if they do draft a guy, that would leave MVS, McCole Hardman, Juju Smith-Schuster, and a rookie. Plus, I don't think McCole Hardman's very good.
No, I don't disagree with you there.
If anything, it's a good time to...
I want to say with Hardman, there have been times where he's been good, and then there has been times where he's not so good. But I think I think there's part of it is that he hasn't been great. And I think the other part of it with Hardman is that he just hasn't had opportunity to do it because they've had Tyreek Hill. They've had Travis Kelce. And I also would say Hardman has played the same role as Tyreek Hill. Like, he wasn't playing in the slot. He wasn't playing the role that Juju Smith-Schuster was coming into play.
Are you a Hardman truther?
I am not a Hardman truther. Well, who knows? Maybe I will be. But I do think that Hardman is going to get an increased amount of opportunity. And if the Chiefs don't draft somebody that's similar to Tyreek Hill in the draft, like a Jameson Williams or somebody like that, and I don't mean to compare Jameson Williams to Tyreek Hill. I just mean like speed-wise that can stretch the field.
Yes.
Which they expect MVS to do. And MVS could be a sign that they don't love Hardman. And that could be like, okay, we're going to pay this guy $12.5 million a year. Or it could just be we need another body because we just got rid of our star wide receiver. I think this is a gargantuan mistake for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think this is horrible for them. And I think this is due to the fact that most situations, me and Rick kind of agree that the cap is crap. And you can restructure contracts and make things happen and get cap space. I would say the Patrick Mahomes contract right now is one of the only contracts in the NFL that can screw a team because he gets, no matter what, 40%, I think it's 40 to 45% of the team's cap space. That's what he gets paid on a year-to-year basis. So cap goes up $80 million. Chiefs going to be in buying? No, because they still have to pay Patrick Mahomes 40% of that money that just got expanded on.
You think after this trade for future reference, Mahomes is going to start restructuring his contract?
He might. I think he might restructure his contract, but I didn't think it was going to happen this fast. But the Chiefs are already feeling the ramifications of signing that contract with Mahomes. Now, if there's anybody in the NFL that I would sign that contract to, it would be Patrick Mahomes. To be fair. But I will say the Chiefs' offense and what Patrick Mahomes has done and the type of player that Tyreek Hill is, it is a huge loss for the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, have you seen Patrick Mahomes run around and everyone's like, oh, what a throw by Mahomes. He got out of the pocket and made a play. And almost half of the time, it's Tyreek Hill getting open because he has a connection with Mahomes and he knows where Mahomes wants to go. When that happens, you don't just have a play designed for that. They don't have Tyreek Hill running in circles on the field on the play sheet.
Right.
And so not having Tyreek Hill, I think, is going to be a massive loss for Mahomes. I had Patrick Mahomes ranked number one.
He's not number one for me.
He's not going to be number one for me. I don't even know if he is going to be in my top three. That might be too hot. But
is it Josh Allen again? Are you going to do it?
Oh, yeah, Josh Allen number one. Let's go.
3 straight years?
One choice. No way. Got to go for it.
I mean,
on the Josh Allen train. So anyway,
there we go.
But yeah, I think that the ramifications of this are Patrick Mahomes has got to move down rankings a little bit. I don't know what people's thoughts are going to be in a couple of months. I still think he's going to be the quarterback in the top 5 and be ridiculously good. I just think like when you've seen the Chiefs offense where they've cut the head off the defense. Cut the head off the offense and taken the top off the defense or taken the top off the offense and made it so that they can't throw it down the field. They struggle. And so now they don't have that guy. And I think Mahomes is going to struggle because of that. Not struggle like a normal NFL quarterback, but just not produce as much fantasy-wise that we've seen. I am not in on MVS.
No,
I'm not in on MVS at all.
You can go suck a toe and go draft.
He's gonna. I know. Honestly, honestly, signing a guy like this, I would look at MVS and be like, you know what? I'll take a risk on that. The problem, everyone else is going to take a risk on that. Everyone else is willing to take that. I'm gonna say he might end up being like a 6th round, 7th round pick. All set. So I'll pass on that.
If he's anywhere near that, I'm not. I'm probably just not
has a lot of hatred. Rick himself just explained that.
This sounds like a developing take.
And I think Hardman's not going to end up getting drafted that high. if I had to go. Now, I want to see what happens.
I will tell you, I would rather draft McCole Hardman than MVS, but I don't want either.
If MVS is like a 6th round pick and Hardman is like a 9th or 10th, I would take him. Now, Juju is the man in the middle here. And I still don't like, everyone was like, oh, Juju, move him up. And I like Juju. And I think his role is not really going to change. They brought him in to play slot, and that's what he's going to do.
This is, though, by far the best quarterback he's ever had.
Yes. Now, I see the problem is where do you put him? Where are you going to put him on your rankings?
I don't know. I'd have to look.
Like, do you think chances of him finishing as a wide receiver 1?
As a wide receiver 1, that's not high. He's not going to get drafted like that, though.
I think he will.
You think he's going to be one of the first 12 receivers off the board?
I think people will draft Juju high.
He's going to be the highest of the 3 receivers we talked about, but he's not going to get drafted as a first.
Right. You don't want him in the first round.
No.
You don't want him in the 2nd.
No.
You don't want him in the 3rd.
No.
4th.
No.
5th.
That's when I start to consider it, but probably not.
So I think he's going to end up in the 4th round.
Oof.
And that is too much for me. But I do like Juju. I think he's going to be the leading he's going to be the leading receiver target share wise for the Chiefs unless they bring in a rookie who
I'm pretty sure they're going to draft somebody.
I
don't know who, but
I don't know what that guy's going to look like year 1 cuz the last time they drafted a wide receiver that had speed Hardman.
So, yeah, same Cole Hardman.
So and they just signed MVS to a $12.5 million year for like
that's true
for 3 years. So it's like I'm not sold they're going to draft a wide receiver high. They might go after one in the 2nd or 3rd round, but I'm not sold that the Chiefs are going to go after a guy high. With that being said, in Dynasty, whoever they draft in the 2nd or 3rd round, please do not get all friggin' sweaty over that.
Moore.
Because he might end up being good, but it's not going to be year 1.
Yeah.
So, anyway. Oh, you know another move that just happened that I totally forgot about?
What?
Pertains to the Chiefs. We can talk about it now. Rojo to the Kansas City Chiefs. Ronald Jones.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyway, we can talk about that in a second, but...
I'm so glad I traded Clyde.
What'd you say?
I had one share of Clyde Edwards-Helaire in Dynasty. I traded him away. For a good friend.
So anyway, yeah. So as far as the receivers are concerned, I think if you had to rank the 3 on the Chiefs right now, I would personally say Juju, Hardman, and then MVS.
Yes, agreed.
And I think Juju could be a top 15 wide receiver in fantasy football, and he might be able to jump. He was wide receiver 1 when he was targeted.
Yeah, I changed my mind about taking him in the 5th round. I think I would definitely. Because I went from saying probably not to I think I would take the 5th round.
Okay.
Because I'm looking at this list and it's like,
who's in the 5th round?
Adam Thielen or Juju.
Juju.
I know you love Hollywood Brown or Juju.
I do like myself some Hollywood. That's close. I'm gonna say even.
I would take Juju because and then you get Hunter Renfrow or Juju.
Juju.
We're getting a little high. Devontae Smith or Juju, probably. I don't know.
Juju.
I mean, the Philly,
Juju.
and it has nothing to do against. I love Devontae Smith.
That's high for Devontae Smith. Are you kidding me, guys? Come on.
And then there's like Darnell Mooney or Juju. Allen Robinson or Juju. Probably.
Yeah. Draw the line there.
Amon-Ra is wicked high.
Yeah. No. I actually might. Nah. Even.
I think I would take Juju. It's close.
They brought in Chark, so I'm confused.
It's just a better offense to me.
Yeah. No, I that's true. Yeah, I agree. I mean, if he gets targeted like he did last year,
Amari Cooper is probably better than if Deshaun Watson plays.
Yeah,
obviously,
right.
That's going to be. But if Deshaun Watson suspended 8 games, Amari Cooper or Juju.
No.
So I mean,
I do think that all of these players though get like MVS. I'm not sure. He played with Rodgers, so like it's not like he's going from crappy situation to crappy situation, like or
right.
very bad situation to very good. Like I don't
He's
see
always
him
been in
producing
this.
any more than he did with Rodgers. Like that's kind of where I'm at with him, and that wasn't very good. So, like, take him where you will. I'm just not in on MVS. Hardman,
Yeah.
I think if he takes, what is he, in his third or fourth year?
Yeah, this is his fourth year.
If he gets target share, he's not Hill at all. And I'm not saying he is, but if he gets any kind of target share similar to Hill, and they use
They
him,
do
in
have
that same
MVS ahead
capacity,
of Hardman, and I would take Hardman over MVS straight up. So
yeah. So I do like Hardman in this situation. I don't. It depends on where he gets drafted. Like if he's in the 9th, 10th round, I'll take the risk. But like if he's not, if he's like 7th round, 6th round, similar conversation as MVS or Juju, I'm out. I'm not dealing with that. So that's just kind of the receiving core. And then as far as the running backs, I'm not sure what they're doing. I don't know.
it's a 1-2 punch.
1-2 punch. Let's go. Rojo's a good pass catcher. So I don't know.
I will say
I don't know how they're going to use him. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Oh. So it's weird because at their current prices, I want to say I'd rather have Ronald Jones because Clyde is still a lot higher. He's RB26 right now.
Yeah.
Ronald Jones is RB42.
Right.
But I think Clyde, this might be the year where he actually gets more passing work.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, that could help his fantasy value.
Well, Rojo's a decent pass catcher. He was used as a pass catcher for the
He
Chiefs.
is, he is. But I think
Chiefs for the
I think they brought him in though to be like the opposite.
Damian Williams.
Yeah, he's going to be like the heavy
Darrell
hit
Williams or the
guy.
third guy or the second guy. I should say. Forgive me.
He's going to be the short yardage carry. You know, it's kind of like the Cardinals how they use James Conner and Chase Edmonds. I could see it being like that.
Who's Chase Edmonds? In that
Clyde.
offense? Oh my!
But he might not get as many rushing touchdowns as James Conner did. Ronald Jones. But
Yeah,
I
yeah,
do
no,
like
okay.
Ronald Jones. At his price, he's behind Chris Carson. He's behind Sony Michel. He's behind Darrell Henderson. He's behind Cordell Patterson, Alexander Madison,
I do like
Rahamed
that.
Stevenson.
I'm just curious, like, who do they see as the number one guy? Is this like a nudge to Clyde saying, listen, you need to get better? Because ultimately what I think is going to happen by the time we get to draft season is Clyde is not going to be where you just had him. He's probably going to fall down into like the 6th, 7th round would be my guess, unless the market's hot for running backs again. So, like, I just don't know. Like, if you had to choose one for fantasy football and you wanted to add one guy to your fantasy team from this backfield, who is it?
If all things are equal,
Just based on the situation that we have right now, with the information that you have, which guy do you want?
Ronald Jones.
I'm gonna have to stick with Clyde for now.
I have been
What the hell
so
was his
down on
contract?
Clyde
That's the
the
other
last
thing. I
year
totally
and a
don't
half.
even know what his contract was.
It wasn't. I don't think it was a lot, but
Because that would also kind of tell you what they plan.
it's
on
kind of
doing.
like a prove it deal though too. So
Okay. I mean, okay, so let's say he is the guy, and
it's a 1 year, $5 million deal.
say he is the guy, right?
Mhm.
Ronald Jones, and he takes over. I love it. I love it. Like
Oh, yeah.
that gets me excited. And with the amount of games Clyde has missed, I like that for Ronald Jones. And I think he's obviously going to be, like, if I had to choose one running back and Clyde is getting drafted like in the 4th round by August and Ronald Jones is like a 7th, 8th round pick, I would take Rojo over him as the value pick.
Yep.
If I had to choose one, not taking drafts into consideration, I would probably choose Clyde.
I think I would take Clyde too, but it's close. It's close.
Right. So I'm interested to see what the Kansas City Chiefs do at the running back position, but this is I think this isn't an ad for them where it's like we need to get a guy into the system because we just lost Tyreek Hill and we need more offensive weapons for Mahomes. But it's interesting. I'm interested to see where this goes, because I see Ronald Jones playing more of a Jerick McKinnon, Darrell Williams role than a feature back.
Sure.
I think Clyde is still the guy. He's not going to be 3 down, but he's still the guy for the Chiefs, and I think they'll utilize him like that. What I haven't talked about is what this means for Lenny, playoff Lenny, RB1.
Playoff Lenny. He really is. Has he done a 180 the last month and a half?
I know, honestly.
We're talking about Brady retired, crowded backfield, or he's a free agent, and all of a sudden stays with Tampa. Brady comes back, Ronald Jones leaves.
Yep. Very good things for Leonard Fournette. I mean,
no, he's an RB1. He's a low-end RB1.
Yeah, low-end RB1. I like him. He's old as dirt, which makes me nervous. But
he is.
If he's getting drafted in the 3rd round, I'm good. I'll take it. So, let's talk about the other half of the Tyreek Hill deal really quickly, though, with Travis Kelce. If they trade Travis Kelce, I'm done with this offseason. I'll just jump out a window.
Patriots and the Chiefs are tanking.
Yeah, seriously. So, if there was any year for the Bills, my goodness, just figure it out, guys. Stupid Bills. To go for a championship, because now you got everyone's maimed. I mean, you know what? I think the AFC's really good, but so many question marks, and it's like Bills are up at the top. Anyway, so for the Miami Dolphins, they have Waddle. They have maybe the fastest receiving core in the NFL. That scares the crap out of me. You know what doesn't scare the crap out of me? Tua Tagovailoa.
Number 2. Yeah.
So, obviously, a player like Tyreek Hill going to, he's a game changer. He's a game changer for an offense. And I think a lot of Tyreek. See, this is like I was just talking about how Mahomes gets out of the pocket, runs in circles. A lot of Tyreek Hill's yardage came off plays like that. I'd love to have a number of like.
So I wish I'm going to try to pull it up, but I actually have something to kind of refute that.
Okay, because that's what I was going to ask. Is there a stat or something? Because obviously that doesn't happen every play.
There's a stat that ESPN posted where it was quickest time where you catch the ball. So like 2 seconds after a snap, 3 seconds after like whatever it is. So basically means like how many screens or slants you get, like quick passes.
Right.
Jalen Waddle was number 1 in the NFL last year in that, and Tyreek Hill was in the top 5.
Wow.
So he does get a lot of short yardage passing plays.
That happened last year, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that goes to my fact that they changed their offense when we talked earlier in the offseason about the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, 2018 Mahomes was, it was different.
It was different. He was running around. Even like 2019, 2020, this year was a different Chiefs offense, and they've used Hill differently than they ever did. Which it doesn't mean like that's what he's going to do for the Dolphins, because that's what.
And you know what though too, you know how the Dolphins love to do RPOs.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're still going to do that with McDaniel, because he's actually honestly the most underrated factor in this. Is how is he going to use all these guys together and what they're going to do, what the offense is going to look like, and his scheme and everything. Mm-hmm. But if they continue to run RPOs, it's perfect, because you obviously have the run option, and your pass option will be Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill on slants on each side. I mean, that's like,
I don't know if we're going to be able to actually watch the Dolphins play. We might not be able to see them.
Why is that?
Because they're so fast.
They just flash on the screen.
Boom! Oh,
and then
Tyreek Hill score a touchdown.
The ball, and it
it's
hit
like
the
that
ground.
episode of freaking SpongeBob.
It's actually gonna be insane. But again, it's all gonna depend on Mike McDaniel, who we'll talk about on the coach's show.
Yes.
But it's interesting because I do like it.
Tyreek Hill has Jalen Waddle, says we believe in Tua, runs it with the running back 600 times.
Have you heard him talk? Mm-hmm. Like in interviews? Did you hear him? Did you watch him in the Pat McAfee show?
Yep.
That was my favorite one.
Whole thing.
He's like, so I like running the ball. And like we could do that. with our team. It's like, what?
Okay, guys. Game plan for this week. Hand the ball off to Raheem Mostert. It should be a great time. Tua, I'm just going to chuck it with him.
Anyway, I'm going to go smoke a 10-pack of weed.
I don't know. That is you're right. That is a big contributor. Mike McDaniel is a big contributor to the success of the Dolphins. But for fantasy for Tyreek Hill, this is a clear downgrade. Am I wrong?
I don't think you're wrong.
You go from Patrick Mahomes to Miami with Tua, and it's like, no disrespect to Tua, but like he know Patrick Mahomes. So I do feel like you said, the statistic that you just brought out about specifically, Tyreek Hill being top 5 and the amount of time it took to get him
it was quick passes. Right?
I know that unless Mike McDaniel changes that, I know that that's what Tua is good at. He comes from Alabama. Right. The RPO offense.
And he's very accurate on those short to.
It's literally, it would be perfect for them. I mean, they don't even need. See, the thing is like you have Waddle. Like you really didn't need Tyreek Hill. You got the same player twice. Like it's kind of like, but that's what makes me like. I'm also concerned about Waddle because Tyreek Hill comes in, and they just paid him $30+ million a year to be a wide receiver. They're gonna throw it to him. That's gonna be their guy. So now you look at Jalen Waddle, and it's like, I'm not really like, I was excited about Waddle before, and now I'm like, how can I be excited about Waddle if he's not going to get a
Waddle's definitely just took a step down.
They both did.
I will say the Dolphins might be one of the most pass-heavy teams in the league this year. They're going to be up there.
That is fair. Yeah, they might throw it a lot.
Now, they are. I mean, they're still going to run it.
But if he runs the same system as the 49ers, like.
True, but that's the thing. That's the thing with Mike McDaniel. Like we don't know.
Yeah.
But it's gonna really depend on how much they throw the ball for Waddle. But early rankings.
49ers South.
Early rankings for PPR.
Yep.
Tyreek Hill is still wide receiver 6, and Jalen Waddle's wide receiver 11.
Okay, Waddle needs to be moved down to like, I would say 15 to 20.
So
and
Waddle or Deontay.
Say that again.
You like Tyreek Hill at 6. I thought you would be down on that.
Based on what Waddle did last year, in the short time that once he figured things out, there was a short window, like from week 10 to like 17 or whatever, where he was like a top 6 wide receiver or 7. I think Hill takes that. Like I think he's going to be that guy. And then Waddle takes a bigger hit than Hill does. Hill just doesn't have, like, with Mahomes, Hill has wide receiver 1 overall upside. Whereas
he doesn't have that.
Tua, he doesn't have that. So, like, 6 to 10 is a safe range for him, I think. I would be okay drafting him in that vicinity.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just wasn't expecting you to agree with me.
Okay, all right. I do like that as a spot. I was going to pull up, though, a specific metric because we gotta end the show pertinently. Here we go. So this was Tua Tagovailoa in 2021 after having a full year under his belt with the Miami Dolphins and having a good wide receiver in Waddle, a decent offensive line, not great, but decent. Mike Gesicki, good tight end. They didn't have a running game.
Yeah.
So these were the numbers for Tua. His throw ADOT, and go Google that if you don't know what it is because I'm not explaining it, 28th. His yards per attempt, 23rd. His EPA plus CPOE, which you go look it up. I'm not explaining it. 18th. Passer rating, 19th. And then these are fantasy numbers. PPR created on play action, 20th. PPR created on, I think it's gun, 22nd. And this guy says he has a QB with efficiency numbers this low, ever produced 2 top 12 wide receivers in a season. Better odds he produces 0 top 12 wide receivers next year.
Thanks.
That's a scathing review. But I will say, I think a lot of people are excited about Tua, and I think adding receivers definitely improves a guy. But when you are bottom 10 in the league in efficiency at the quarterback position, and you had some decent weapons, is adding Tyreek Hill going to improve you into the top 5, top 10 of quarterbacks in the NFL?
Top 5, absolutely not. Top 10, probably not. I would agree with that. I think top 15, though, maybe. Tyreek Hill is a special player if they use him right.
But does that make Tua that much better? Because this past season, I said this in the offseason last year, this was it for Tua for me.
Yep.
Be good now, because I'm out if you're not. And he wasn't, and I'm out. And it's like, I understand they got Tyreek Hill. You're 1 year too late.
Yeah.
Your quarterback is okay.
This is definitely a year where it's like, if Tua stinks, they're moving on. They're gonna go all in on a quarterback next year.
I agree. But then you have Tyreek Hill dead in the water with Jalen Waddle.
Well, no, that's why I said
unless
you waste a year.
The unsubstantiated rumors are true. And a 1 TB12 is being traded to Miami Dolphins.
I think
if that
the rumors
happens,
with that,
pants are off.
The problem with that is, even if those rumors are true, like, I think
imagine Tom Brady with Mike McDaniel. That he might kill himself.
He might kill himself. I think Brady would want to play in Miami.
Yeah.
He just can't. He's under contract.
They have to trade him.
And they're not going to do that. So I don't think that's going to happen.
So, yeah, I mean, the guy who broke the Tom Brady to Tampa news is saying that there's something in the works, and I don't know if I believe him.
98.5, the Sports Up had it fast.
Yeah. I don't know if I believe. Just like we had Matt Ryan of the Colts first. So
we did.
We did. I'm telling you right now.
I should have tweeted that out.
Yeah, I should have tweeted it out. But anyway, I think that, yes, of course, Tua is going to improve efficiency-wise with Tyreek Hill, because Hill is a guy that's going to change the team. But I don't think that Tua automatically becomes a top 10 quarterback or a guy that's going to win you a ton of games based on that. Like, he still has to throw the ball and get it to Tyreek Hill. So that is one particular situation. But I point that out not to say that the Dolphins are going to lose games in real life and that the Tua sucks and all that stuff. I bring that out to say...
Could happen.
Which could
that's
happen,
a real
yes.
possibility.
But I bring that out to say this is the quarterback that is now Tyreek Hill's quarterback. This is the quarterback that is Jalen Waddle's quarterback, right? And so it's like with these two guys who are, we just said, ranked in the top 12. Tyreek Hill 6, Jalen Waddle 11, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible for the Miami Dolphins with Tua Tagovailoa at quarterback to produce 2 top 12 wide receivers in fantasy football? And I'm going to say no. And we obviously know Tyreek Hill takes a hit, moves back. I think he can still produce as a wide receiver 1 because we saw Waddle producing wide receiver 1 numbers last year at certain points in the season. So Tyreek Hill can 100% do it. But I think the person that takes a hit, the two people that take the biggest hit are Waddle and Gesicki. And so it's kind of, for the Dolphins, it's kind of toast for me. Monologue over. Sorry. I just realized I talked the whole time.
No, you're good. I kind of agree with you. I don't know. Because in some ways, I think, again, Mike McDaniel and Tua are huge factors in this. So let's not get away from that. But if Tua plays, if Tua can play well and they figure it out, you would think Tyreek Hill being there could also benefit Jalen Waddle.
I agree.
He's going to see number 2 corners. It's the focal point of the defenses will definitely be Tyreek Hill. And in some ways, I think that could help Waddle. But you're right. For two receivers to finish in the top 12, Tua is going to need to have a great year.
Yeah, and I don't know if he can do it.
I don't know if he can do it either. I'm kind of on the same boat with you. I think
2 years ago or 3 years ago, right? He was before his hip injury, he was supposed to be the number 1 overall pick.
Right.
That's what his ceiling was. And then Burrow happened and he broke his hip. And
they
now,
still only have a 5.
Like year 1 for Mac Jones, he's already played better than Tua. And it's like, what? Like, why do we still expect Tua to be this big breakout quarterback? Like, I just can't. Like,
well, the thing with Tua, though, like Tua's year 1 and year 2 were really not different. Like, he actually, for a rookie, had a good rookie year, but he just didn't improve at all in year 2.
And I saw somebody bring that stat up, right? In Tua's first 17 games, because he missed time and he didn't play every single game. In his first 17 games of his career, his numbers are just slightly worse than Mac Jones if you put their first 17 games like next to each other, right? Yeah. And I was thinking about that, and Rick's point is the exact reason why that situation's refuted. And it's because Tua played basically the same, maybe slightly worse than Mac Jones in his rookie year. What did he do in his second year? Zero. No improvement. Yeah. If Mac has no improvement going into year 2, then I'm going to be equally as pissed off and not believe in him. But I'm like, if Tua didn't make any steps forward in year 2, and they added a really good receiver, they didn't have a really bad offense. Like, it doesn't lend to me to believe that he's going to actually be this big quarterback that everyone, believes is a breakout. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I hate to be down on Tua because I do like the guy.
So can I just give you some fan?
I love myself some Bama quarterbacks, huh?
This is a fantasy football podcast. So who would you put? Because Waddle right now consensus ranking is 11. The wide receivers below him are Deontay Johnson, T. Higgins, Mike Evans, DeAndre Hopkins, DK Metcalf. Do you put all those guys ahead of Waddle?
Can I pull the sheet up in front of me so I can look at it? And
go ahead. Because I would definitely put I think DeAndre Hopkins right now is kind of a value because people just see his age. And
where are you seeing your list? Waddle ranked 16 on mine.
I'm on PPR.
Oh,
fantasy football draft rankings PPR.
Forgive me.
You probably were on
You're
standard.
right. Waddle 11. I would take Deontay Johnson over him
with Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't disagree. I think I probably would too, but it's very close.
You ask me very, very devil's advocate questions sometimes, hoping that I slip up, and then I don't. And you're like, I agree.
I just like to have thoughts. That's all.
Yeah, I got you.
It's good. It's a good thought process.
Waddle. I would take Deontay Johnson over Waddle. Now that Brady's back, I might take Mike Evans over him. Higgins, I would. If Hopkins plays healthy, I'd probably take him too. Metcalf, no. Moore, no. Chris Godwin, no. Terry McLaurin, no. So, yeah, like I'm going to be right around 16.
Okay. Yeah, I think.
And if Metcalf leaves and goes to a new team, which is a rumor that's been floating around too, another big wide receiver.
Well, that would change things.
That would change things a little bit too. Or if they go out and somehow, like if they get Jimmy G or something stupid like that, which I don't know why they would trade him interdivision, but you get the drift.
See, Godwin got hurt at the end of the last year. That's why he's lower than Evans. But if Godwin and Evans are both healthy to start the season, I would take Godwin over Evans.
Okay.
I don't know if I would take. I think I would probably take one of those guys over Waddle, but not both. I would take Deontay. I would take DeAndre Hopkins. Higgins, I will lean yes, but it's very close.
Okay.
So that would put me at like 15 with Waddle.
Yeah,
which
I think that's a great spot for him. I think that's where he'll end up next year. The question
still a good wide receiver too.
What'd you say?
That's a good wide receiver too in PPR.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that he should be in that range, and he might end up going higher. But I do think that there is no vacated target share for the Miami Dolphins. There isn't. Besides Devontae Parker leaving, and he played 4 games last year, so
right.
Who knows? Maybe he played more, but there's not a lot of vacated opportunity there for the Miami Dolphins. And with that being said, it's got to come from somewhere, So that burns Hill, which sucks, and it burns Waddle, which also blows because I love Waddle. I was so hyped on Waddle this year, I was freaking excited. Dolphins had to go ruin everything. So anyway, there has been a lot of hype surrounding Miami, though. People are excited about this.
Oh yeah,
they're fantasy football people are excited. I'm like, I don't know how you excited, my guy. So anyway, you have any more thoughts on any of these guys that we just talked about?
Nope. I think that's it.
All right. there you have it. Another free agency update. Trades. If we get another blockbuster trade, I give up. I don't know what's going to happen. But we do have rookie quarterback rankings on Thursdays. So be sure to check that out. We'll talk to you later, guys.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Champions Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and YouTube and follow us on Twitter @TheFFChamps.